Hello and welcome to my updated LOL Esports Top 25 Power Rankings. We're going to go over the top 25 teams in the LOL Esports space. Keep in mind, I do not watch Academy or minor regions, so the minor region teams that appear on here will be just from thinking about international past, in terms of competitiveness from minor regions, as well as just, nameplates and results. Results are part of it. I'm not going to put a team on here that has good players that's never won a game, right? So that's wouldn't happen. So top 25, you'll see that there are already teams on here. Those are the Discord top 25. I allow my Discord members to, post in a thread. Well, don't allow. I encourage them to do so. And then we put what a community top 25 is. We had 7 people participate. Hopefully we can get to double digits next time, like we were last year. So that's their top 25. They also voted for most to least points. Heretics, Vitality, Fear X, Team Wales, Gam Esports, Kwangdong Freaks, Nongshim, Red Force, Invictus Gaming, PSG, Talon, Rare Atom, CTBC Flying Oyster, Rogue, Fun Plus Phoenix, Beyond Gaming, Breon, and Team Liquid. A lot of different votes being cast for these teams. In terms of those 7 voters, I break it down based on role. If you join my Discord and you go to the roles or rules channel, you can choose which roles you'd like to be notified when things are going on. If people want to notify a certain region's fans, or if I put up a video. If you are not a role in there, I'm not going to count it. So 2.58 of those 7 follow the LPL, 2 LCK, 1.58 LEC, 0.59 minor regions, and 0.25 LCS. So just to give you a vibe for the Discord's community, posts the top 25, it's majority LPL and LCK fans. So now my top 25. The 5 teams that were removed from last time: CTBC Flying Oyster, Team Wales, Rainbow 7 from Latin America, Thunder Talk, and Vitality. The only team that I probably shouldn't have moved off of there is Thunder Talk. It's probably not fair to them, but I did anyways. I did it anyway. So 25th, I have Nongshim Red Force, new to the top 25. They played very well this past week, especially against Gen G, I thought, even in their loss. Against DRX, they did have a hiccup in Game 1, but I thought in Game 2 they were very dominant. And Nongshim is a team that I am looking for to be in contention for that 6th spot, along with the KDF squad. 24th, we have PSG Talon. They're 1-0. They beat Hell Pigs. PSG are going to be a team that we probably see at international events, and they're competitive. Junjia, Maple, Ozzy in top lane, Betty at 80 carry. So they're no slouch, right? Those are players we've seen before in major regions as far as Junjia, Maple, and Betty are concerned. Now, they may not have done great there, but they have done great internationally at times. 23rd, SK Gaming. So SK and Europe have already played 2 weeks of their winter season. So there are 6 games in the books. I think there's an argument to be made that they should be higher based on the fact that they beat Fnatic, Rogue, Mad Lions, Koi, and Giant X. But they lost to BDS and Team Heretics. So there is a lot of jostling here in the LEC for who is the top dog. There are a lot of teams that are in that middle group that are 4-2, 3-3. So with that in mind, SK, I think, have shown some good things. Isma at times looks like a rookie, and at other times, alongside Niski, is dominating the game. So SK are 23rd. 22nd, I have IG dropping 8 spots. So they 2-0'd Ultra Prime today, but it wasn't clean by any means. The laning phase was very close. Cryin ended up taking over, but Hacker, I thought, got the better of Tianzin. And the bot lane of Doggo Shui, I guess, did very well into Zhao Yuji and Wink. And a factor in this is Zhao Yuji being in place of An. I think An is an LPL level 80 carry. So that switch definitely is part of this. This is not the same team that I even thought was playing last week. So they're 22nd. 21st will be FlyQuest, dropping 5 spots. 2-0, but Shopify Rebellion and Immortals are not good teams, right? So FlyQuest should have dominated those two, and they simply did not. They simply didn't. So with that in mind, I mean, shoot, they're dropping because they needed to look like they were a step above those teams, and it simply wasn't the case. Now, could they glorify Scrim a bit? Probably. I think the bot lane looked good, Masu and Busio. Busio more so than Masu, but Masu, it is his first weekend, so let's continue to see him develop. He is, I think, only 19 years old, so there is a lot of room there. 20th is... Oh, I moved that team. 20th is GAM. GAM returning to the top 25. I did not include them last week, frankly, because I wasn't 100% certain of what their lineup was going to be. I didn't know if changes were made, and it doesn't look like really that was the case outside of mid. Well, actually, sorry. I guess the top side remains the same. The rest is out. Like, KD is not there anymore, and neither is the 80 carry style is not there. So, 20th GAM, they beat Team Wales, right? So last year we saw Team Wales at Worlds. They were the darling in play-ins, Glory and Artemis, and GAM beat them soundly. So they end up 20th out of Vietnam. They are going to be competitive at international events if they're given an opportunity, and visa issues do not bite them in the ass. 18th, dropping 1 spot, is actually 18th staying the same. 20th, 19th. Heretics 19th. Did not drop a spot, sorry. Because I moved a team, my board isn't lining up exactly. So Heretics 19th. G3, G2, whatever the hell you want to call them, the old G2 squad. Beat Rogue, Giant X, SK, KC. The only good team out of those 4 are SK. Lost to G2 and lost to Mad Lions. Mad Lions loss is not great. Not a great look. But Heretics have gotten better over time. Perks is really taking over. I know I had somebody in my comment section last night say that Perks is probably not getting the respect that he deserves. I don't follow, the in-between game stuff all that much, like the broadcast. So I don't know how much they're really not giving him in terms of attention, but I thought he's looked good. Flackid leaves a little bit to be desired. Wonder does as well, but Yankos and Perks are doing a lot of work. 18th, Fnatic. So despite Fnatic losing to SK and losing to BDS, well, I have Fnatic 17th. So they beat KC, Vitality, Rogue, Giant X. You could argue those are the 4 worst teams in the LEC, Vitality or Mad Lions. You can kind of flip a coin on which one, I guess. But this is more of me projecting out Fnatic. I still think Fnatic are a really, really good team. I don't think that they're going to be any worse than they are right now. I think they're only going to keep getting better because Noah and June are going to keep playing together and improve. Oscarinin continues to look good. Razork is good, and Humanoid does his job. So, Fnatic are 18th. BDS 17th. New. So I have 3 LEC teams there, and there's something to be said about that. You could argue, really, you just stacked them on top of each other. You don't think a team is in between them, and it's like, honestly, this is a mess. So BDS beat Giant X, Vitality, Fnatic, Mad Lions, SK. So right now, definitely better than Fnatic and SK, but they haven't played Heretics yet. They're playing this weekend. They lost to G2. That's not a surprise. They have a better record than G2, but I think we can all agree that G2 are a better team than BDS on paper, and they were better when they played. Now, it's a matter of how do BDS look against Heretics, and how do they do in best of threes. Obviously, Ice is looking good in the bot lane. Some people really critical of Ice. I think just the presence of Ice because Crowney was out of that team, but at the same time, when 4 players stay, 1 player leaves, you do have to wonder how much of that was management, and how much of it was the team just saying, you know what, this isn't the vibe we want to go with. This is not working for us. And you can be a fan of a player all you fucking want, but the truth of the matter is, you aren't in the team meetings, you aren't in the scrims, you aren't, with these guys, so you don't. I mean, we don't know why something happens, right? Necessarily. Things can look the same on the Rift, but evidently there was a difference, right? So, BDS 17th. As far as the Discord's concerned, they had it BDS, SK, NRG, OMG, FlyQuest, ThunderTalk, KDF. I don't know how I had KDF on here twice. Something happened here. Something's amiss. Anyone's Legend and Team Week. KDF probably are supposed to be higher in their power rankings as a result of that mistake. 16th is Anyone's... Yes. Anyone's Legend. So, 16th Anyone Legend, we have a team that did really well in their one series. So, they played FPX. They played FPX and 2-0'd them. I thought Harry looked really good in the top lane, and he was my MVP yesterday. And honestly, that's the hole in Anyone's Legend that makes me wonder, can this team be competitive in the LPL at a high level? Because I think Shanks, Hope, and Cal are excellent, and they will be and looked like that against FPX. Krako and Harry are the question marks, and Harry looked good. So Anyone's Legend, new to the top 25, are, they performed, right? So I think if they play against these teams, they have a hands diff in mid and AD carry to a degree that I don't think these teams are really gonna be able to fight against. 15th, moving up 2 spots, KDF. So originally I had them 20th. So this is the team that I moved around. So I thought about it more. They're 1-2. So they have a losing record. And they'd be like, wow, you have a team with a losing record. And they're the only team on here with a losing record. But their losses are to HLE and T1. And if you're new to these top 25s, in my perspective, when you lose to a team over here and you're a team here, that's not a shock. We expect that. I expect that. These teams are the teams I think are world contending teams. And these teams are a bunch of good teams, right? So if KDF lose to 2 great teams and then beat a good team in KT, which is what they did today after making a roster change, and Bull actually possibly shot calling for that team, that changes a lot of things, off those first 2 games. Like those first 2 games, it's like, okay, well, they made a change. Now they're better than they were. And not to mention, they probably weren't going to drop on them. Like I said, I had them 20th. I dropped them a few spots, but now I'm thinking to myself, you know what? No, they're gonna move up. So KDF are 15th. I think that they looked pretty good today. 14th, dropping 5 spots, G2. And so I agree that they're glorified scrimming it at times. They have G2 games. So beat BDS, Carmine Corp, Heretics, Mad Lions, Koi, but lost to Rogue and Vitality. 2 losses that I would say are unacceptable, and at the same time, they looked like happy games, right? G2 have these where they kind of just, they played Seraphine Sona bot lane, trying to scrim on stage. That's fine. But at the same time, Winter, in my opinion, you need to secure Winter to get some championship points, guarantee yourself to MSI or all of that nonsense, and then you can start glorified scrimming the rest of the way. Excuse me. So with that kind of in the back of my mind, I'm dropping them a bit, but I know G2 are an excellent team. It's just a matter of, hey, are they trying to play to win, or are they scrimming on stage? So that's the top European team. 13th, RNG. RNG moving up 7 spots. Tangwan is why they moved up. I thought Tangwan looked excellent against EDG. And he is the question mark, similar to how I talked about Anyone's Legend with Harry. Tangwan is the question mark for RNG. LWX and Ming are a solid bot lane. They are going to be just fine. Topside, Breathe and Way, just fine. Those guys can, those four by themselves with Tangwan and Ting gets this team in the playoffs. But if Tangwan is doing well, this team is a chance to be a fourth seed at Worlds. Like, that's a feasible thing. Like, they're in the outskirts of that if Tangwan can develop. So with that in mind, RNG are 13th right now. Top LCS team, C9, moving up one spot. Smoked NRG and 100 Thieves. I mean, what are we going to say? Those are two of those three teams that I think could go. Well, actually, sorry. Actually, I didn't have NRG as a team that I thought would go to Worlds this year. But C9 dominated those two teams. What else is there to say? All 5 roles looking good. That's going to be C9 all year long unless the tires fall off. If they keep winning, they're just going to waver in this middle column until, MSI and beyond that. And we'll see how they, compare internationally. If they don't get to MSI, like I said, if the wheels fall off, I don't know what I'm going to do. The LCS might look like minor regions up here, and people are going to say, oh, but they're already a minor region. And then I'm going to say, unless you're an Eastern fan of the LPL or LCK, we're all minor regions by comparison. Now, 11th, Weibo. They didn't move at all. They haven't played yet. So, they haven't played yet, so that kind of is what it is. 10th, D+. They are 1-1, dropping 2 spots. They're out of the world contending, the world's winning contending column. Ugly against KT. Kingin into Perfect did not go the way they would have hoped. They lost to, like, KT's a good team. That's why they're still up there. It's just not a good look, right? Losing a game when you put a guy down 0-8-7. What are we doing here? If we're putting a guy in the dirt like that, Kingin obviously dealt a lot of damage, but he couldn't win them the game. Lucid, I thought, looked fine for his first weekend. I have people in the Discord that think he looked bad and he looked terrible. I don't think that was the case. He's a rookie. It's his first weekend. That's going to happen. We'll see how he does over an entire split and not look at a 2-game sample size indicative of much of anything at all. KT 9th, moving up 3 spots. So beat D+, but like I said, it wasn't pretty. 2-1. One of their wins being with their top laner 0-8-7. It looked like the shy when it came to Perfect's gameplay. So beat FearX as well, lost to KDF. So we're going to kind of figure out now this week. I think they play T1. We'll figure out if they are up there in that area of the LCK or not. At least going into it, I don't think that they really were that close. Like I said, I had them 12th. But they beat D+, they beat FearX. KDF loss is ugly, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, were they really properly prepped for Bowl? I don't know. I really don't. 8th, Ninja in Pajamas, up 2 spots. Discord, by the way, had it KT, D+, NIP, G2, RNG, C9, Fnatic, EDG, and Weibo. EDG did get one first place vote because we have an EDG fanboy who couldn't help themselves. So 8th is Ninja in Pajamas. Obviously a great roster, 4 of the 5 roles. Well, 3 of the 5 roles. But Aki, MVP today for LGD. Who, like I've been saying with some of these LPL teams, he is one of the question marks, and he looked good, and so did Shu. So they're 8th after their win against LGD. A couple teams that didn't play, JDG, LNG. And then 5th is still Top Esports because despite them losing to BLG, who was above them in the top 25, we don't know what LNG and JDG actually look like yet. So Top were competitive in that one. They lost 2-1. The bot lane looked very good in their victory. I thought that 369 left a little bit on the table, but there's a reason why his name is the way it is. And Tien and Cream. Cream was a question mark. However, I've been saying all along, Top Esports are a team that I want to see develop and get better, all the way to Worlds in the, you know, in respect to Cream. Can Cream unlock that potential? And if he does, watch out. Fourth, we have T1 dropping 3 spots. Lost to Gen G, beat KDF. KDF now have made a roster change and are better. Gen G beat them 2-1. So T1 still world's contending team. But at the same time, they did lose to Gen G, so they did drop. Third, HLE. Beat DRX, KDF, FearX. So they beat 3 bad teams that aren't on my. Well, sorry, KDF were a bad team at the time. KDF now are 15th for fucking sake. So those 3 players, 3 teams, easy wins. Easy wins. You know, when they got to play a real team, we'll have a great idea of where they're at. They still play a super slow style of play that is infuriating to watch from a perspective of a viewer, an entertainment perspective. And I think that opens the door for teams that could just hands diff them in the end. And I know Viper is great with his hands on the keyboard. But the fact of the matter is, Zeka, Peanut, Doran, how do they match up against these guys? Obviously excellent players, but we're in a group of excellent players, right? So, you know, you can't kind of play that way and expect to win against teams that are just as good as you. Gen G are second. Beat T1, beat Nongshim. The Nongshim win wasn't the cleanest, but they did beat them. Solid team. Great team. Great team. Like I said last year, they're on par with JDG of last. So, like I said earlier this month, I thought that they looked like JDG of last year in terms of just this team has carry-oriented players all over the place. Somebody has to fall on the sword, and it is going to be interesting to see how they pull that off. Great team, and yeah, I mean, looked good, right? Looked good. First place BLG beat Top Esports. Moving up, they're innovative, right? So they played Brand Jungle. We haven't seen a lot of brands, right? I think only Willer was the other one. So that's a big deal, right? BLG offer that value in the jungle of having Shun, who is willing to get creative. Canyon is also, and I am interested if Gen G unlock him and allow him to do what he does. You know, but BLG looking good, looking good. We'll see as this season goes along how these top 3 teams kind of, you know, they're going to trip and fall at some point, and it's a matter of to who and in the manner in which they fell and recover. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And I hope to see you again tomorrow.